Well, Leah, this matchup is between two teams who have completely opposite paths this season. One team is the Hoosiers, undefeated, conference champion, and of course, Heisman winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza on their side. But the other is the Miami Hurricanes, who did not win their conference, has 2 losses, and barely squeaked into the playoffs. Well, the Evansville Thunderbolts are officially the SPHL's President Cup champions as they just raised the cup right there. Captain Matthew Hobbs raising it for the first time in team history. And as you can see, this is a live look at the on-ice celebration happening right now inside of the Ford Center. The game, once again, went into overtime, but the Thunderbolts did come out on top 2-1 after an Aiden Litkey goal assisted by the captain himself, Matthew Hobbs, sealed the victory for our Thunderbolts.
Hockey is for everyone. Hockey Heroes is hosting its inaugural event to help kids with special abilities pick up the game of hockey.
This is not an easy defense to play against by any means. No. Ball hawks all over the field. You were saying earlier, Gavin Leach averages 12 tackles a game.
Insane.
And then you're adding on top of that Benny Patterson, a D1 commit to
Big
that
boy.
as well. So it's not easy. It should be a back and forth game tonight.
Yeah.
It should be a hard-nosed, tough run and gun type football game. It's the man himself, Jet Goldsberry, bouncing it to the outside on a keeper, finding his way into the end zone for a 15-yard touchdown. 7-0 Patriots early. Now Heritage Hills will keep the scoring going. Next drive, it's Goldsberry keeping it again himself, taking off, no pun intended, jetting down the field. This time a 40-yard touchdown run. Patriots up 14-0. Turn our attention now to the Bluegrass State, where we are in round 2 of the Kentucky State playoffs. Owensboro High School and Owensboro Catholic coming off some big-time wins last week and are once again hosting their playoff matchups.
Lives changed today at the final round of the Korn Ferry Tour Championship presented by United Leasing and Finance as 30 golfers received their PGA Tour cards. Heritage Hills Patriots finished their season 14-1, avenging that state loss from last year. An absolutely dominant team all season long, and they cap it off with that state championship title. And it was very fun to watch them and cover them all season long. You could tell this team was destined for that state championship.
And obviously you got to give your praise to Matthew Fisher, the catalyst of that offense. That defense, they've only given up 22 points. That's the most they've given up in a game is what I mean. 22 points. They've shut down defenses. They're ball hawks over the field. They create turnovers, and then they give the ball to Matthew Fisher, and they say, hey, man, go cook. And he cooks. With him and Luke Elsperman and all the weapons on that offense, and they are just electric. Welcome back. Sectional 32 in Class 3A is loaded. Plenty of powerhouses from the tri-state area. And before we get to the matchup between Memorial and Mater Dei, we head to Gibson County, where familiar foes faced off on the gridiron. The Titans of Gibson Southern hosted the Patriots of Heritage Hills. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on the first round matchups, some of the teams to watch out for, and what you can expect as you might be creating or finalizing that bracket. We start in the West region, where Florida, title contenders, the #1 seed. You better have them going far. They're one of the deepest, hottest teams right now in all of college basketball. Today was a special day for Princeton as WNBA star Jackie Young returned to her roots for a heartfelt celebration. The Toyota Indiana YMCA, housed in the renovated Lowell Elementary School, where Jackie first picked up a basketball, unveiled that brand new mural dedicated to her incredible journey from a young local athlete to a professional basketball star. Coach, you see the field, you see the grass mixed with the dirt. You guys got the SIAC Conference Championship on the line. Just kind of what are all your emotions heading into this big-time matchup?
Mantooth says he's enjoying retirement and getting the chance to spend time with his grandkids, but you can still catch him right here watching Apollo High School baseball games. Reporting in Owensboro, Ben Thomas, 44 News. Friends, family, and the Henderson community gathered today to say their final goodbyes to the legendary Super Bowl champion, motivational speaker, and beloved community member.
He loved his faith and he loved his family, he loved his football, but he loved this community more than anything.
Samuel Davis Ball passed away Monday, October 30th, surrounded by his family. Known for winning Super Bowl V, blocking for Johnny Unitas and the Baltimore Colts, Ball received a number of football accolades in his lifetime. From an all-state football player for the Henderson County Colonels to an All-American at the University of Kentucky, Ball even had his number 73 retired by the University of Kentucky. He was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame Kentucky chapter and Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame as well.
My daddy ran off when I was 9 years old. Thank God I had a great mama and my high school coach who believed in me. And that's where it all started from. Being an All-American and a world champion with the NFL Baltimore Colts, okay, the Baltimore Colts, okay? And so, ain't God good?
Once retired, Ball came back to his hometown of Henderson, Kentucky, and became a figure throughout the community. He was a member of the Chapel Hill United Methodist Church, worked as an agribusinessman for over 30 years, and was a motivational speaker. Whether it was his stories, making people laugh, or giving back, Ball made a lasting impact on everyone he met.
We hear stories about what he did for people and how he filled them up and how he motivated them and encouraged them. So that's the biggest legacy is not just football, it's just the man that he was.
But his legacy goes far beyond football. He was a loving husband, father, and grandfather. His daughter tells me that all he wanted was to be a dad, and that's how they will remember him.
He was just dad to us, and so there were so many things that were great about him. And yes, we heard the word football every day of our life, but it's not so much about his football accolades, which were amazing to be from this little town, but it's the man who he was. It was his faith, and it was his service and how he wanted to add to people's life.
Ball will be buried tomorrow at Fernwood Cemetery with services beginning at 2 p.m. Another memorial service will be held on Wednesday from noon until the funeral services begin. Reporting in Henderson, Ben Thomas, 44 News.
As we get closer to tonight's game, the journey has been a long one for both teams to make it to the biggest stage in college football. Now, our very own Ben Thomas is live in the studio to break down this season. Now, Ben, walk us through how well each team has played this season.
Well, Leah, this matchup is between two teams who have completely opposite paths this season. One team is the Hoosiers, undefeated, conference champion, and of course, Heisman winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza on their side. But the other is the Miami Hurricanes, who did not win their conference, has 2 losses, and barely squeaked into the playoffs. But don't let those 2 losses fool you. Miami began the season ranked number 10 in the country and got up to as high as number 2 at one point. This Hurricanes team is led by one of the top NFL prospects, top 5 pick in my eyes, Ruben Bain Jr., in a tough Miami defense. They're ranked 5th in points allowed at 14 points per game, and they lead the nation in sacks at 47, a very tough defensive front. But those Indiana Hoosiers have faced plenty of tough defenses before, and as we all know, it's not really been a problem for them as their offense has been terrorizing opponents so far these playoffs, outscoring their opponents 94-25 just across 2 games. Now they'll look to continue that dominance tonight with the title on the line. But the big question in tonight's game will be, can Miami's offense, led by Georgia transfer quarterback Carson Beck, be able to pick apart that stout Indiana defense to get points and keep up with that high-powered Indiana offense? We will certainly have to wait and see, and we will find out that tonight, as Indiana is currently favored in tonight's game by a touchdown. And unless Miami's defense can get some stops somehow, this game could be yet another one that gets out of hand and favors Coach Cignetti and those Hoosiers.